to The Health Affair, a bite sized podcast where we talk about what's healthy, what's unhealthy, and everything in between. Remember, this is the only guilt free affair that you must end up having. And I'm your host, Shweta. What is up, people? After reading the title, I'm sure you must be missing the days when we had bountiful and unrestricted access to all the nice, lip smacking food. So, before you roll into that drive and get all nostalgic, let me tell you that's a song that I discovered recently. It's about a man who is trying to amend his carnivorous eating habits with health foods like sunflower seeds. Can you see what I'm pointing at? Traditionally, we used to eat to survive, to live, to gain energy to perform our daily tasks. Food was considered to be divine in most cultures and ethnicities. In late 1960s though, the Green Revolution happened. It brought about a giant increase in production and availability of food grains, which completely changed the way we look at food now. And as we have evolved to be these modern beings, our ideologies about consuming food have changed too. Now, we eat something because we like how it tastes, the flavors, the way it blows our mind. On some days, we eat to survive the emotional roller coaster that we're riding on, be it periods, bad day at work, or maybe some personal issue that we're battling through. But nowadays, we eat to just keep ourselves occupied. Whether we're on a call with some friend or watching a show, we constantly keep reaching out for food without giving it a second thought, also known as mindless eating. Especially during this quarantine, each one of us have been struggling with binge eating. I think most of us were struggling even before it. So, what is it that you could do to make it a little better each day? Number 1. Plan. Schedule time. Anything that you do without prior planning is bound to fail in one or the other way. Remember, if you fail to plan, you plan to fail. Plan what you'd eat for a day, or maybe a week if you're really strong willed. Mark a day to have cheat meals, or maybe spread it out in the week. Number 2, eat until you feel that you're not hungry. I'm not gonna say something unrealistic like eat until you feel 80% full, because frankly speaking, it is not possible to understand when you're 70% or 80% full. Also, the reason why we overeat is because we've been conditioned to ask if we are full and not that are we hungry anymore. Change the way you question yourself. Number 3, eat at frequent intervals. Having spoken about eating till not being hungry, you might feel hungry later on in the day and feel the urge to hog on junk. Crisis alert. Keep something like a fruit or nuts handy and you're good to go. Number 4, do not fall into the trap of calorie count. Okay, again, this is something I find very impractical. How do you even count it when your hunger is almost killing you? At such times, better choose something that's a plant product, because almost all plant foods are low calorie with a few exceptions like potatoes and dried fruits. Number 5, shop local and avoid processed food whenever possible. Buying from your local vendor has several benefits. 1. You give back to someone needy and not to those rich food manufacturers, someone who works really hard to make ends meet. Don't you think it's important to uplift others as we grow? 2. Greater the shelf life, lesser the nutrient value. Sometimes I understand it's inevitable to buy packaged food because of the food spoilage rate. In this case, you can shop weekly and in required quantities only. A little fun fact here. Canned food has its origin in France in the 19th century. Perhaps surprising given that the French cuisine is associated with dishes made from garden fresh ingredients. But in 1795, the French government faced the fact that it's not easy winning battles abroad when your soldiers are hungry and malnourished. Hence, the very famous French ruler Napoleon Bonaparte established a 12,000 franc prize for whoever could find a way to preserve food. And it was French innovator Nicolas Appert who won the reward. It took him more than a decade to develop a canning process that involved cooking food in glass jars and then sealing them with a cork. So yeah, canning was originally used to keep the war soldiers and explorers fed. Yet, nobody knew how canning worked back then. And here we are, eating canned and packaged food for no reason whatsoever. Number 6. Not all fats. Not all fats are the villains. I enjoy having ghee so much, but do I have like 5 to 6 spoons of it? Of course not. I'd hardly have a spoon or two. I love dry fruits, but does that mean I'd keep munching on them for the whole day? No. Anything in excess ain't that good, and anything in moderation works just right. Again, if you have a very intense training program or if you're engaging in a sport like football or basketball which lets you burn a ton of calories, you might be allowed to indulge a little more than moderate. Also, it completely depends on what state your body currently is in and what are your goals to be achieved with that body. Number 7 and the last one, be mindful. Most of us enjoy food and are foodies as they call it. But being mindful of what you're eating and your progress is also important. Be prepared with the fact that you'd go off track sometimes for the love of your food. But remember to come back to your journey of mindful eating and, of course, not beat yourself up. And this brings us to the last segment of our today's episode, QOTD, and that is the question of the day. So, here it is.
Hi. So my question is what kind of foods I can have to improve my BMR?
This question is asked by my go-to person, Apeksha. Hi there, Apeksha, and thank you for this question. First of all, what is BMR? It's the basal metabolic rate. Basically, your metabolism, a biochemical process that occurs in body cells that convert your food into energy. You gotta have a good metabolism if you wanna stay in shape. And here are 3 superfoods that I'd recommend to have a top-notch metabolism in no time. Number 1, having a protein-rich diet. It should ideally constitute of lean proteins like fish, chicken, or plant foods like legumes and pulses. It could help increase your metabolism for a few hours. They do so as they are heavy to digest by requiring your body to use more energy. This is known as the thermic effect of food, TEF, and it refers to the number of calories needed by your body to digest, absorb, and process the nutrients in your meals. Research shows that protein-rich foods increase TEF the most, that is by 15 to 30%, as compared to 5 to 10% for carbs and 0 to 3% for fats. Number 2, green tea. Studies show that green tea may increase metabolism by 4 to 10%. This could add up to burning an extra 100 calories per day. Number 3, metabolism uplifting spices. There are certain spices which help in improving your metabolism like ginger, garlic, and pepper. A study published in the Journal of Nutrition found that garlic may increase the number of calories burned during daily activities while decreasing the body's production of fat, hence uplifting your metabolism. Just having these foods alone won't do the job. Along with this, you gotta indulge in a weight training regime, drink a lot of water, get a good night's sleep, and a couple of other things. Might as well cover this entirely in an upcoming episode. On this note, we are at the end of today's episode. Tell me what you liked and disliked. Was there something that provoked you to think? You can drop us a message on our mail, thehealthaffair101@gmail.com, or on our Instagram handle, thehealthaffair.in. You can also connect to us on our Facebook page, The Health Affair, and our Twitter page, HealthAffair101. All your feedback and suggestions matter just the way you matter to me. Thank you so much for listening, and I'd see you on Tuesday with a fresh and hot out of the oven episode. Until then, adios.